Hello, welcome back to Portugal Muse in Central Portugal. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I am just in the forest at the moment with the dogs. I'm keeping Tom on the lead today because there's a lot of deer about, and if he gets a whiff of deer, he's off. And the last time we came out, he got away and he went really far, and we couldn't get him back, and he got stuck in brambles, and we eventually found him. Dave found him, and I think he was really scared because he got stuck, and I must have passed him shouting out his name, and obviously he couldn't get out of the brambles, and Dave had to go in the brambles to get him, and Dave got all cut. All his arms and his legs got cut from the brambles. So better be safe than sorry today. I'm just going to keep him on the lead just in case. But yeah, they really need a walk. If they don't get a walk, all three of them go a bit crazy. Come on, Tommy, Tom. So it is July now. We're in the middle of July, and that really hot summer is finally here, and it's getting really hot. So we have to change how we do things a little bit based on the difference in temperature. So one of the things I have to do with the dogs is take them out really early, or really late. But I don't like taking the dogs out late because of the mosquitoes. So Dave doesn't really get bothered by mosquitoes, but I get bitten quite badly. They seem to like my skin or my blood, and I also then react quite badly to mosquito bites. So I'll take the dogs out before the sun gets too high, because if the sun's been on the road for too long, the road gets too hot for their pads. But also, like you can tell, I'm really sweating now. It's just too hot to do the walk, so I definitely couldn't do it at lunchtime. So it's a case of getting up sort of earlier and earlier as the temperature goes up. So that's one thing we have to change when the hot summer gets here, is that we have to take the dogs out really early, because it's just too hot otherwise. And then I told you that I get bitten by mosquitoes, so I get a load of citronella stuff in. So I'll burn a citronella incense stick, citronella candles, especially if I'm outside, and then I'll get a citronella spray for my skin. I also, if I do get bitten, I have to take a Telfast, which is an antihistamine, which helps with. So you can see Tom. He is desperate to get away because he's got a whiff of deer. Come on, Tom. Come on. There we go. Literally gonna rip my arm off, but I can't risk him running away again. It was just it was a bit scary when he got lost, and we love him. We don't want to lose him, and he's just got instincts, because Bran and Griff are two Welsh border collies. They're herders, and I've trained them since they were little, so they're really good with following instructions. But Tom's getting better. It's just he's a hunting dog, and he was abandoned. He was living wild in the forest, so yeah. He's not as well behaved as Bran and Griff. He is in other ways, but it's just on the dog walk I've got to be careful. So it's really beautiful here. I don't know if you can see the forest behind me. We're really, really lucky to live here. It's absolutely gorgeous. What else do we have to do when it gets hot, hot? The sun on the pool and using the pool every day means that the pool needs maintaining. So we have to put chemicals in it once a week, and the filter needs to be on every day. And yeah, we have to just keep all the bugs and anything like that out of the pool. And also we brush the sides so that like mildew doesn't build up. Our diet changes quite a bit. So if you watched previous episodes, you'll know that I like to cook. I like to eat like quite comfort food, like pies. I'm trying to think of other things I've made on the channel. I made a moussaka once. I like Italian food as well, like carbs. But yeah, in the summer our diet changes quite a bit, so we eat what grows in the garden. Come on, Tom. So yeah, we eat what grows in the garden. So we eat a lot healthier when it gets really hot. Dave's work's really tricky in this heat. So Dave, my husband's a roofer. He's a builder here. And I think this time of year he's got to be really careful, especially if he's doing a roof. If he's up on a roof in this heat for 8 hours, he has to like obviously put suntan lotion on, drink plenty of water. But I think he tries to do more inside work this time of year. So if he can be fitting kitchens or fitting bathrooms, he prefers that sort of work to roofing this time of year, because roofing's really hot work anyway. But yeah, in this heat, so it's in the 30s now, but I think next week we're predicted the weather temperature will be in the 40s, so it's a bit hot to be on a roof. So Dave has to be careful with his work. What other changes do we make when it gets hot? So we can't be in the sun too much. It is nice to be by the pool and sunbathe, but I actually come in sort of definitely between 1 and 3 o'clock, when it seems to be the hottest. I'll tend to come in, which is like Portuguese people don't really understand the Brits, because we'll sunbathe and be in the sun, and Portuguese people stay in the shade and they all wear hats, and they don't understand why we are the way we are. But I guess we still act like we're on holiday a little bit. It's still like a novelty living in Europe. Mad. If you'd have told me 6 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you. But we made it. We did it, and it's awesome. We're very lucky. But yeah, it's really funny because once it gets really, really hot, we're all like, oh, it's hot. While before, like a month ago, we were all complaining about how cold it was, and I've had to buy a lot of firewood. Hate it when it rains. But now that it's really, really hot, everyone's like, oh, it's so hot. It's just funny. It's a British thing, I think. But Portuguese are the same. They talk a lot about the weather. It affects where we live. So we're like rural Portugal. The weather really affects people here, because one of the biggest industries here, other than like agrotourism, is farming. So most people have some sort of farming sideline if they're not full-time farming. So if you get irregular weather like we've had this year, unusual weather, it affects farming quite a bit. A lot of the people we know, they've got vineyards, and the weather obviously affects the grapes quite a bit and the quality of the wine. Another friend we've got here, they've got an olive farm, and they make like the most beautiful olive oil. And it's interesting seeing what they say about the weather and how it affects their crop, and then obviously eventually the quality of the product that they need to sell. But I've definitely felt it this year with my veggie garden. When we had snow in March, that affected the first round of seedlings. I've been trying succession planting, or so before one crop is done, you've already planted the seedlings for another crop. So that's something I'll show you today. Is my beetroots are ready. Once we get back to the house, I'm going to. Oh, Tom, really pulling. Once we get back to the house, I'm going to pick up the beetroots from the veggie garden. Oh, ow! So yeah, once I get back to the house, I'm going to pick up the beetroots. They're ready, and I'm going to plant the seedlings. So my beetroot seedlings are almost ready, and I got some really good tips from people in the comments a few videos ago about like what I should do with the vegetable garden, how I should suppress the weeds with mulch, and I'm going to try doing I'm going to try and do the cardboard. That seems like a good idea to stop the weeds. And then I'll show you how to pickle, how I pickle beetroots. So I've still got the beetroots that I grew last year, and I did them in a sort of salt pickle. And today I'm going to preserve the beetroots in a sweet pickle with sugar and herbs. So yeah, that's next on the agenda after walking the dogs. Pick up the beetroots, put the cardboard down to stop the weeds, plant the beetroot seedlings, and then pickle this harvest of beetroots ready for eating, in the autumn and winter. It's great to have like the flavours of the summer when the weather turns back to being miserable. So we're going to make the most of this sunshine and preserve it in the form of pickled beetroots. I'm going to stop filming now because I think I need both arms to keep Tom from running away. He's really eager to go off, but I don't want to risk it. I don't want to lose him. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna pickle my beetroots. You can see just how hot it is with how much the leaves have wilted. So normally you could eat these in a salad, but I literally left them out for 2 seconds and it really wilted. And it's just because it's so hot here at the moment. It's bananas. So I'm gonna cut the tops off and to one side. I'll compost anything like this that we don't eat. I'll compost it. Okie dokie. And then I'm just gonna peel off any like extra bits and then get them ready to wash them. Some people wear plastic gloves when they're preparing beetroots, but I just wash my hands afterwards. I don't mind my hands getting stained. As an art teacher for a decade, so used to having paint all over my hands. Quite like it. Okay, so I'll just give them a bit of a rinse. Yeah. Beauty of working outside. There. Okay, so I'm going to boil them whole. So I'm just going to cover them with water. This is cold water. And then they'll go on the boil now for 30 minutes until they're cooked. Okay, so once the beetroots are cooked, I drained them, and once once they're cooked, it's really easy to take the skin off. So it should just peel off really easily just with a knife. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to chop them up. I like mine sort of quite chunky, so I like them in a salad. So thinking sort of that size is pretty good. Like sort of bite-size pieces. Okay, so now they're all chopped up. I've got a sterilized jar. The way I sterilize it is to boil it in hot water. So I've got a big saucepan I use when I make jams and stuff. So I just pop it into boiling water and that sterilizes it. But you can also pop it in the oven for 10 minutes if you take the plastic off, and that'll sterilize it as well. So pop the beetroot into the jar. Okay, so those beetroots will cool down while I make the pickle. In a saucepan, I'm going to put some water and some white wine vinegar, and then some mustard seeds. And then I've got mixed whole peppercorns. So I thought the colours would look nice. And then I've got some thyme. So this is thyme I've had growing. I'm just going to chop some bits off. It smells really good. Use the other one. A bit more. Okay. And then last thing is sugar. I'll put the measurements around on the side of the video because I can't remember what they were off the top of my head. This is a Claudia McKenna recipe. It's not mine. I love Claudia McKenna. She's one of my favourite chefs or cook. I think she sort of calls herself a cook, but she's fantastic. And she got me through the first lockdown when we just moved to Portugal and everything shut down and everyone got really into cooking. And I was watching her sort of, they were like little Instagram videos she posted daily, and I just loved it, and it got me through that first lockdown. So I have a lot of time for Claudia McKenna. This is her recipe. And then just salt. So this is my Hallan Morn mug. So there's an amazing salt brand company in North Wales called Hallan Morn, and I'll put a link to it. And they make amazing salt, and it's a beautiful brand. And we lived on the Menai Straits, and it's just between the mainland of Wales and Anglesey, the island at the top. And the salt, I think, comes from the Menai Straits, and it's delicious. And they have all sorts of like other delicious products. If you go on their website, they've got very cool stuff, really nice recipes, really nice products. Um, so yeah, I can't get their salt over here now; it'd be too expensive. But if you're in the UK, I definitely recommend Hallan Morn and all their stuff. They do like a salted caramel spread. They do a banoffee salted caramel spread. They do all sorts of relishes and ketchups, and it's really good. Okay, so last thing, salt. I'm not going to put too much in because this pickle is supposed to be more sweet and salty. So that's everything in there now, and I'm going to put that on the boil for 2 or 3 minutes just for the sugar to dissolve. So that's dissolved now. I'm going to pour it into this jug, and then it'll be easier to pour into the jar. Okay, we're pickling. Okay, and there we go. So um, it's important that the beetroots are completely covered in the pickle because that's what obviously preserves them, and they'll last a year. So we've still got beetroot from last year, and we're still eating it now. We're not getting sick. Um, so yeah, it's really really useful. Um, that you can grow stuff in the summer and then you can still eat them in the autumn and the winter, and you can still have those summer flavors when the weather changes, and it's already cooked and it's delicious. So it's like one thing you have to do for a meal that's already done. Like for example, when we'll have people around and we'll have a barbecue, that's done, that's ready to go, that's something for people to eat. um, so yeah, love it. I'm just going to wait for it to completely cool down before I shut the lid. But yeah, really happy with it. Hope you liked it.